Uhuru got the first official session of Guerrilla Studies. Gonna go live here, share screen here, get it in. Okay, so this is the the African internationalist study hour, and we're struggling through this as we go. I'm gonna have the link to the YouTube. I've got some background noise. Give me 1 second. I should be able to just. President Masmela, you had some background noise, and I was sorry about that. I'm putting the link Discordians in the text chat for our live YouTube broadcast for y'all to check in there as well. This is what I want. Peace. All right, so we're live on YouTube. And anybody that's on Discord, I hope again, let me know if y'all are seeing yes, y'all are seeing YouTube and the chat from YouTube. Perfect. Okay, so again, we are struggling through this as we do it. This is the Youth and Student Working Group's African Internationalist Study Hour, and we are an offshoot of the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparations. Our mission here is to win Black youth to a national Black political agenda for self-determination, win Black youth to national organization, win Black youth to the Youth and Student Working Group, and build the Youth and Student Working Group, and also build the Black is Back Coalition. So here we got our call to join. We need y'all to immediately, if you go to the Google Classroom, you'll be able to see where we have and also. Okay, now everything should be coming through clearer. Yeah, there we go. I like that better. Okay, so again, join the Youth and Student Working Group. Again, so we are calling all youth, student, instructors, and educators, y'all. If you are faculty and staff on a campus anywhere, if you are a student, if you are a youth of any capacity, we need you on the Youth and Student Working Group. And so from here, I'm going to take us to our actual content. What we're going to be doing, if y'all have Google Classroom pulled up, what we'll be doing is going through the role of the African intellectual, but we'll be going through it in a different way. Well, just the way that I haven't seen gone through, right? And so, but before I get into that, I do want to bring everybody's attention to the plan of action. The plan of action is the most important element to anything that the party does, anything that is done under the influence of the movement. So the plan of action includes the political overview, the goals, objectives, the committee, the program, the outreach, membership, and fundraising plans. It's where we create a political overview that gives the political basis for the political action that will address the issue. And you can find this in the description to the plan of action. The description includes what a plan of action is, how to go about it, and why it is important as a guiding aspect for our organization. And that's from the Impedum Branch Building Manual, Section 8. Contact me if you want to see that branch building manual. Always great reading. So I'm going to pull up our plan of action here. And The plan of action, again, is accessible on the Google Classroom. And if you're on Discord, I'm going to put that in the chat once again. And you're saying that you can't hear anything, Comrade Chair? Come back. Come back. I need you to just, you're saying you're not. I said, I seen a message that said you're not here. Oh, you can hear. Bet, bet, bet. I see. I see. All right. Got to check in with mods. You know, what they say takes precedence. Okay, that can go away. Okay, so the plan of action, y'all. We are This is Guerrilla Studies, and our study sessions will guide participating progressive students in coping with their navigation of colonial capitalist academia. We will have dialogue sessions and help students develop revolutionary skills. We'll provide the opportunity to incubate radical student advisement, where African internationalism can actively disrupt the pathway to the petty bourgeois class and the lifestyle associated with it by providing a foundation of principle. The end result will be the radical nurturing of progressive students capable of connecting every aspect with their education to African internationalism. The Youth and Student Working Group will create for the progressive student a pathway which directly opposes the present dominating pathway to the petty bourgeoisie. And as we go through the role of the African intellectual, we'll understand this language a bit more, and we'll see the continuance that I have going there. So we're gonna go straight down to the goals and get to what we're doing right here, because these sessions, when they go live, will hopefully only be 30 to 45 minutes. I value everybody's time. And the reason why this is so accessible on so many platforms is because we want to incubate we want to incubate hybrid involvement, right? Soon, for example, the Youth and Student Working Group will start sending the action items for, things that we're trying to build and things that we need going in a newsletter format, where it's open for participants to take on or take up, at their own capacity and stuff like that. So our goal here for going through the role of the African intellectual, right, which has been done 500,000 times, right? How many people, how many videos, how many different study sessions have already gone over the role of the African intellectual? But we have an actual goal. We have a tangible measurement here, and our struggle is to establish the African internationalist purpose for colonial capitalist education. That is career and course advisement, struggle to determine which skills are needed from the colonial capitalist institutions for the development of AADEP and the Office of Economic Development and Finance. And we'll do that through identifying and establishing the pathway that for African students that is clearly laid out in the instructions and leadership of ASI, as African Socialist International's Secretary General Louise Kinshasa. We will also bring forth assignments from colonial education courses for discussion. And, we will carry out the study on all available platforms and utilize the Google Classroom for accessibility and archive, right? So as we develop this and as we go through it, we want people to be able to, access this and participate on all formats. So from here, since we know what we'll do, what we are doing, I'm gonna move and open the content, and the content, going back to the classwork in the Google Classroom. We're going right to the required text. And so I have both the link and I also have my own PDF. Now, for the purpose of facilitation, I'm going to open my PDF, but I want people to, if you're participating in this, virtually, it would behoove you to open the link and not my PDF. You'll see why in a second. So I'm going to open my PDF. And it's going to take forever. There we go. So my PDF has, all the markings and stuff like that, and it has the markings that that I've personally done for my study and the things that I highlighted, right, with the plan of action in mind. The next thing that I want to have up actually to share is my actual notes that I take. And we'll go through these things and we'll juxtapose the formats that I'm offering, right, with notes that we take individually, hopefully. If we're all in the Google Docs and whatnot. Reading notes. There we go. Move to the iPad and then full screen. And this, perfect. Okay, so if everybody got the role of the African intellectual in the world as well as the Google Doc. So basically you could be focused on any platform, or you could be focused on any mode that you prefer for what we're going to be doing. Again, this is the role of the African intellectual in the world. Let's make sure that the links are in the appropriate chat, everybody. And as I'm talking through this, and my assistant facilitators will hopefully be doing this. Eventually I'll need to go on YouTube and finagle with the settings. I'm seeing on YouTube we've got Uhuru J on YouTube, and Uhuru to everybody once again on the Discord, which you can access from Google Google Classroom, that can be found in the channel descriptions. Okay, so we're gonna start reading over here, because again, it's 8:15, and I done spent 10 minutes explaining what I'm doing and why. So we're gonna actually get to it. And again, I'm hoping that everybody has pulled up either just my face, just the screen, and also keeping in mind that we're going to be here editing this document. This document is titled Gorillas Will Be Able to, through question and answer format, establish or slash identify the African internationalist purpose for colonial capitalist education dialogue, right? So now, of course, we would change. We're not doing AP European history here, but when I got that template, I definitely kept it there for the irony. Comrade Chair Emmanuel, I'm wondering, do you have edit access to this while I'm going, and possibly you could be, changing things up and adding things there? When you click on this, do you have edit access? He'll need to open it on his end. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that link is in the that link is definitely in the, it's this one here. I just reacted to it in the Discord chat, Comrade Chair. Okay, so this is what we're going to be editing. So basically, for as far as like the format and the facilitation, how this is going, we will take one style of notes and translate it into another for the dialogue portion. But I'm hoping that it'll be more than me narrating. This is supposed to look like facilitation. You have it open now. Can you edit it, Comrade Share? You cannot. Okay. So that means I need to go here. Right. He sent out his request. Let me make sure things are accessible. Share. Amen. Viewer, editor, studio, editor. Anyone with the link, copy, and okay, try that. Refresh your page, Comrade Share, and see if you can edit. Okay, so wait a minute. You pull up the document. Pull up the Google Doc, which I'm hoping you have edit access to.
Yeah, I still don't have edit access.
Okay, right now I'm going to fix that. Right, and the way that I do that is copy. Anyone with link, editor, review, share, say. Woo! That was complicated. All right. Again, so I'm hoping that Comrade Chair will be able to go through that. So again, let's get back to the role of the African intellectual, and let's get this going really quickly. So the reason why these sessions, why I'm hoping these sessions will be short and succinct, is because we will simply be giving out a guide here in this format. And people simply will have this to follow through, and they'll be able to, at the end of the module, the end of every module ends with all the participants creating a plan of action, right? And we'll understand, we'll see, why that's our modality, why that's the methodology as we go through things. Okay, so intellectual activities grow out of a process to produce real life. And this essay is a reprint from somewhere else, right? It says the May 28, 2009 edition of Uhuru News. So we're gonna move down into the text. So basically, for when we go through these things, we're looking specifically for any definitions, any sound and succinct and clear definitions that we can record and stuff like that. So in any given society, intellectuals are, boom. So that makes our first entry here on the Google document, right? And that's where we'll literally say, so make normal text. I don't, okay. Intellectuals. That's this is the first term that we get from that. Actually, I think what I can do better is make that small. We don't really need my notes in Safari. We'll close that out. Minimize this, and what I'll make full screen is these two windows. Yes. Not available in this split view. Why would that be? Black MacGyver, don't play with me. Wait, oh my. Okay, so we've got our that open, and we should have also so classwork. Yep, there we are. Don't play with me. Okay, so for our first entry, we have intellectuals. Intellectuals are actually defined here for us in this first little paragraph, and so far we know that intellectuals are the results of the level of development of the society, right? We know that intellectuals are specialized in solving the problems that confront society in the process of producing real life. Okay, so we've kind of got our first working definition as we go through, and this is only the first paragraph. Now, I promise I'm only finna hold y'all for 10 more minutes for this session. I just want everybody to go through, because this is, when we're on the Google Classroom, this will pop up as a assignment that I'll launch officially, and we want everybody to participate. And hopefully next week we'll come back and people have added so much, and they'll have added more to this particular document, and we'll come back next week to reconvene on this again. And again, I'm only going to take up about 10-15 more minutes of your time. Okay, so in our next, we're going to keep moving on in the reading. People develop skills in organizations to overcome contradictions presented to them by nature. Now, I just love that line, and I like everything that comes up on the burning spear, but I want you to I want everybody to be able to discern like how I'm looking at things, how I'm using certain things as definitions and certain things that I'm just passing by, right? But some things are still important. Like I think this is a great thing to know, just a great fact that the development of skills in organization is a scientific outcome of attempting to overcome the contradictions presented to them by, in actual real life. Okay, so to fulfill the needs of the people in society, most people get involved in manual labor as fishermen, peasants, house builders, and net makers, as metal workers making knives, hoes, axes, and spears, as clothes makers. Another set of skilled people like mathematicians, philosophers, artists, priests, and healers, who are not directly involved in the production, in the process of production of material life, emerge later as a result of the development of material production in society. The latter type of people depends on the former type of people. So I highlighted this simply to make a distinction in this paragraph. So there isn't necessarily a particular definition that that I can take out from here that I see, unless somebody from the chat is going, from the Discord will unmute and add their commentary on. But from these two sections, I'm not yet. I'm sorry. From this paragraph, I'm not yet getting a definition that I could possibly use. However, we do understand that there's a comparison going on here, and there's a differentiation made between sets of skills. Intellectual activities arise in the process of producing life, in the process of solving problems that oppose the development of the forces of production. And we know that the forces of production are the workers, right? So intellectual activities should come it is the responsibility of intellectuals, right, to undo any contradiction that opposes the working class production and reproduction of life. Gradually, a small number of people may be asked to observe, study, and analyze further a particular phenomenon in order to study, in order to advance the particular in order to advance the material production in society. And I thought that was another key thing that we had here. Not necessarily a definition yet, right? But we'll have a deeper understanding of what exactly we're looking for when it comes to specifically the question and answer form of the dialogue. Um, and SG Loisy goes on, for example, a society that does not produce yams, right? He talks about the ancient Egyptians, how they invented and developed geometry because they were involved in work to control the flooding of the Nile River. And this, again, was necessary to guarantee agricultural production and land delimitation upon which the whole country delimitation upon which the whole country depended. So pay attention to their, how connections are made to the actual declarations that S.G. Loisy makes. And this is the key in, composing independent intellectual analyses that we want to arm all progressive students with the ability to compose. Production under imperialism has given rise into nations, institutions, and relationships necessary to maintain and reproduce imperialist order. So here is where I'm getting another definition, and I'm going to go here and edit the document and make sure that I'm typing in normal text, right? I see that for here, what is it defined for us is imperialist order. Imperialist order. Oppression and exploitation of oppressed. And y'all feel free to beat me to recording any of this on the Google Doc, right? And then it is also the reproduction of the African bourgeoisie. And in parentheses, I'm going to put in Africa because that definition is going to be widely applicable. And I'm composing these definitions as if this is going to become, part of a widespread pamphlet. And also in the same paragraph, we're offered a definition of the African petty bourgeoisie. Right, and they are the enforcers of the imperialist people chain from Europe and North America. Boom. Of course I can't spell, but I'm gonna, just for time's sake, I'm gonna go on because I said I was only gonna take up 10 to 15 minutes of y'all time, and I got about 7 minutes left of that, I think. And so where are we? Where did we? Okay, so we have so from thus far we've got three good working definitions. And again, this is just to lay a foundation for what we want everybody to be thinking about as we dialogue, as we go through these things. The institutions of learning in capitalist society are created to train and form cadres who will manage and secure the reproduction of that capitalist society. That is to say, in a world that is split between oppressor and oppressed nations, the education must serve to maintain the status quo. So I like that. What's needed here, though, the reason why, even though I like that sentence and what it does, and you know, it just, you know, what it does for me, it doesn't necessarily give me, or I don't know how I would, you know, exactly reword that and make that a useful definition. But that is so very important. Okay. African students are a part of the oppressed nation under which I'm gonna invite to speak. African students are a part of the oppressed nation under which imperialism produces essentially for the oppressor nation. Since students are not a social class by them of themselves, right? Students, not a social class by themselves, right? Not a social class by themselves. And then a social class. No, that doesn't necessarily give us a definition of social class, but it just not a social class involved in material production. And then it lets.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I should speak, but what it's saying here, what it's saying here is that all of us find ourselves in school for different reasons. You know, you go to community college, and there's former military people, there's rich kids that's just trying to save a buck. There's people on CalWorks. So being in school is not a social class.
Right.
Simply going to school don't make you part of petty bourgeoisie. But the mission of the school is to turn African workers either into the petty bourgeoisie or at least into sort of aspiring members of the petty bourgeoisie.
Right.
So education alone isn't a social class. So he's laying out the purpose of intellectuals in any society. Then, so we can identify the role of African intellectuals in the society that will liberate us. So, just wanted to say that.
Yes. And also with that, I want to open people up to the idea of imagining, right? So just like President Masamela let us know that here what is outlined is the purpose for students in the post-capitalist world, right? We want to, as we're going through these things and dialoguing, we want to enable ourselves to even imagine, right, the conditions, right, wherein the dominant pathway is not to the petty bourgeoisie, right, where these Western institutions are not, in fact, the status quo at all, right? So again, for our definition of students themselves, we're here, I'm back in where we continued off in our reading, right? So, and it says many consider their studies in university and other institutions of higher learning to be a pathway to the petty bourgeoisie class and the lifestyle associated with it. In fact, these institutions do, again, that's I'm just repeating what President Masamela already said. Okay, the African workers and peasants whose labor and resistance to imperialism made it possible for them to acquire education and professional status in society. So I'm going to actually make that a definition. That's very important. So one of the definitions that'll be here in the question and answer dialogue is African workers. And the format or the reason why I'm going to use this and what I'm going to say is labor force labor and resistance force to imperialism, which makes possible, right, the acquisition of education and professional status to African students. Okay. Just to highlight the importance of the African working class and African labor and what it and where it serves and the purpose that it serves us. So I'm going to go back up here and go back into the student's definition, because next he particularly lays out what exactly students must do. We understand that students are not a class in of themselves, involved in material production. However, we must first serve the people. Education, and our education must be used to develop the organizational and fighting abilities of the people against neocolonialism. And while I'm facilitating studies, let me make it clear that the only time that I want to hear the prefix neo coming out of anybody's mouth is to define or explain neocolonialism. We will not be using this space to, we will not be giving any space to terms and phrases which African internationalism has already debunked, e.g. neoliberalism. Now, that was the first and only time that this will be said in these settings. So y'all, I've got about 2 minutes going, and I'm going to just juxtapose the two screens that I got up here. Again, I'm in closing. We want everybody to read the role of the African intellectuals on the Burning Spear. We want you to take notes on the question and answer dialogue format, and we will reconvene next Friday on the official capacity to look through this. But all week, think about what specific definitions and roles and what declarations are made here in our material. By the end of the week, y'all, and I'll set I'll have a summary and whatnot. My role as facilitator will be to, get the summary, what we did here, what's happening in the video, when you go look at the YouTube video, what are you looking at and why, so on and so forth. Again, and my unity with, just thank you for being here. If you are here, yes. Uhuru, Comrade Mecca. All right, so we're going to review the reading, and I'm going to make sure that everything everybody needs is in all of the descriptions, okay? Uhuru, I am ending the stream on YouTube. End stream.